Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Canadian Islander fan. Pretty much had the entire summer off here. It's been a great summer. I hope everybody's been out enjoying their summer, but checking on Islander message boards and Twitter and everywhere, it doesn't seem like a lot of Islander fans are having a very good summer. But I'll get into that in just a second here. But let me tell you a little bit about my summer. I knew better. I knew better to shut down shop basically after Trotz was fired and Lambert was hired. The only thing I missed was, anyway, what I did this summer is I went for a 3,000-mile bike trip, and it was beautiful. I had nothing but beautiful weather. It was pretty much 100 degrees the whole time I was traveling, and nothing but clear, bright blue skies. Went out to Lethbridge to see my son out in Alberta. So I biked through the Rockies in BC to Alberta, and went and saw him in Lethbridge. And then I went back to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, where I used to be in the Air Force, and visited an old best friend of mine while I was out there. So that was fun to do. And then, of course, couldn't resist. I had to go down to the States, down to Montana, so that I could do some helmetless riding. And my favorite riding place in the entire planet is in Idaho. I zipped on over there to the Lolo Pass, the highway number 12, which is one of the most amazing motorcycle rides anybody will ever have. And what a day I had for it. There was absolutely no traffic. It was like my own personal racetrack. And I love going down to the States because I get to take my helmet off. So that's why I go down there all the time. And as of next year, I should be living in Lethbridge, Alberta. So I'll be able to pop down to the Montana all the time. So it's just right down there by the border. So I can't wait for that. It should be exciting. So anyway, I was smart enough to realize that after going into our fourth year with Lou Lamoriello, and if you haven't learned this by now, nothing is going to happen till September. I see everything going on out there, and I'm just chuckling and laughing. The only thing that caught me off guard, and this will be the only time when you have Lou Lamoriello working for the New York Islanders that you'll ever get any offseason news. So understand this now, okay? The only time you will ever get off-season news from Lou is when he fires a coach, and he usually does that immediately at the end of the year, or sometimes 6 games before the season even ends. So he'll always take care of business there, and he'll always get the coach that he wants, and he'll get him placed in. But the other news you might get is from the draft. And that's the only place you'll get it from. And that's exactly what happened this year. We got it from the draft, and then it's just shut down shop. And I don't feel sorry for you Islander fans out there whining and crying about not hearing any news, blah, 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 blah. Y'all should have went out and enjoyed your summer and just had a good time. I know that's what I did because I knew Lou's MO by now. And if you don't, that's too bad. If you don't learn your lesson this year, well, and I know many won't. They'll be crying next year about the same things. Anyway, let's go talk about that transaction. Well, of course, I already covered that Barry Trotz firing and Lane Lambert being hired as coach. But while I was on my bike trip, the draft happened. And during the draft, the New York Islanders, Lou Lamoriello, traded our first round draft pick for Romanov. And I was shocked when I checked with Islander fans how few Islander fans know anything about Romanov. I know a lot about Romanov. We got a steal. I'm telling you, this kid's going to be good. Don't forget, Romanov is the same player that came on the plane with Sorokin when we were trying to get him to play for us when we were in the bubble the first year. And then they let them, what was it, 4 of them join their teams in the bubble. And Romanov was one of them. Romanov was as highly coveted for the Canadians as Sorokin was for the Islanders. So I've watched this guy play a lot of hockey, and I'll tell you, last year, if you're just a stats person and that's just all you judge everything by, well, then you're going to look at it and say, oh my God, we traded a 13 overall pick for a guy who can barely get any points. Well, don't forget Noah Dobson's first 2 years in the NHL. But let's take a look at last year. Romanov, 76 games. He had 3 goals, 15 assists for 18 points. He was a -9 with 53 penalty minutes. Now, -9 on the worst team in the NHL is not bad at all. And the 53 minutes and penalties is what you really got to look at there. And in his rookie season, he had 54 games, 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points, and he was a +1 in 21 penalty minutes, and did go to the Stanley Cup Finals with Montreal Canadiens. Now there was a big controversy about that because they didn't let him play in the finals. I think he might have got in one game, so he's got a little bit of experience in the Stanley Cup Finals, but at least he has the experience in a run. But if you don't watch this guy play, this kid can do it all. Okay. He's got a great shot. He can skate and carry the puck. He's good at getting the puck out of the zone with his passing. He's an all-around player, and he's an agitator as well. And I'm telling you, this kid is a steal at 22 years old for a 13th overall draft pick, to get a guy who could be a cornerstone for this franchise for many, many years to come. And Lou has absolutely done a masterful job with our defense. Our defense is looking so strong right now, especially if Salo takes that 6th spot. I know a lot of people want to split up Pelech and Pulock and give one to Romanoff and one to Dobson, but I kind of like playing Romanoff and Dobson together and keeping Pelech and Pulock together. And I don't see any reason why Romanoff and Dobson couldn't complement each other like Pelech and Pulock. I think they've got the makings. It's perfect. I think the Romanov Dobson pairing would be perfect. Now you might see some mistakes on defense because they're young, but it's a young man's game now, and you got to get him in. So try to remember, Romanov's only played 133 games. He's got 4 goals, 15 assists for 19 points. It's a -8, 74 penalty minutes. And when I say he's an agitator, he's a serious agitator, and he can hit. He hits hard, and he hits a lot, and he blocks shots. He does it all. Don't judge those stat numbers, because I expect those to rise as well. Now, there's words I never thought I'd say. That I think somebody's offense will increase on the New York Islanders. Usually it's the other way around. It decreases. I guess a lot of this all depends on Lane Lambert. It all depends if he's going to be a Barry Trotz clone or if he's going to be Lane Lambert, because I'm hoping he's going to be Lane Lambert, because I noticed a noticeable difference in the 3 games that Lambert coached. Like Bailey's ice time was down. Everything was a little different for those 3 games. And the Islanders played well, 2 wins, 1 loss. And let's hope that Lane lets these guys go. So we might have a little bit of growing pains with a few mistakes from Dobson and Romanoff, but I'm telling you, our defense is set, especially if Salo is the 6th D man. I would be very ecstatic about that. We also, so anyway, that's what I know about Romanoff. And all I got to say is I think New York Islander fans are going to end up loving this guy. Don't forget, he's also Russian. He flew over with Ilya in the plane. I'm sure they know each other. Anything that can keep Ilya happy is fantastic news, which I also heard today. Ilya bought a house on Long Island. So yay. So there you got that. So, you're getting a bit of a Russian connection down there in Long Island, and that's good, because then Russians will want to come here and whatnot. So really happy with the Romanoff trade. 13th overall pick. Don't forget Josh Bailey. He's the 9th. So what does a number mean in a draft pick, right? So who knows if that guy's going to develop? He might be a really good player, might be a Barzell. You never know what's going to happen with the 13th overall pick. But I'll tell you one thing you do know is Romanoff is one hell of a good defenseman, and he's going to only get better in time. Okay, so that's it for the trade on the Romanoff, which I was way late on, and I wish I could have been around to do a podcast, since I've seen so many Islander fans not knowing anything about Romanoff at all. I watch a lot of hockey, people. I watch every Islander game, obviously, and of course, being on the West Coast is a huge advantage, because I'll watch 3-4 games a night. I have the games on all the time, and while I'm doing things up here, even while I'm drumming, I'll watch a game. Just don't have the sound on. So But I'm always watching. And so I know quite a bit about a lot of other teams, players as well. And I think you're going to be really happy with Romanov. Okay, that's enough time spent on Romanov. We did get a couple of new assistant coaches. We got Doug Huda and Wiseman. However, Wiseman was quickly replaced by John McLean. So McLean obviously has that connection with Lamoriello. He was a head coach. He has a cup. Good addition. A lot of people are upset thinking that Lou's telling Lane who his assistants are going to be. I bet you it was more of a suggestion, and what a great suggestion, because John McLean's a good coach. That I know. And to see Doug Huda, that kind of blows my mind, because I remember going and watching Doug Huda play junior hockey in Calgary. So it's kind of, wow, am I old? So anyway, Wiseman's gone because of the controversy with the Team Canada with the World Juniors, which is actually a pretty big joke if you ask me, but that's a whole different story and something you guys don't want to hear about because it has to do with Canada. So I'm just going to let that drop. And all I'm saying is I think Wiseman got screwed. He should be an assistant coach of the New York Islanders right now, but that's a whole nother discussion. Okay, let's talk about UFAs. Nazem Kadri. All right, here it is. People, you know, like everybody, oh man, the excuses that are always made all the time. You should be more than happy if you can get Nazem Kadri on the New York Islanders. And if you have to overpay, you overpay. I have been cheering for this team, which will be the 50th year coming up. And in those 50 years that I have cheered for the New York Islanders, not once, not even twice, not 3 times, but just not even once has a top-notch free agent ever chose Long Island. So if you can get the second best UFA out there, you get Kadri and you be happy with it. Kadri is going to make this team a much better team if we do get him. And I do believe that we've already got him. I do think it's in the top shelf of Lou's drawer. Yeah, you just be happy with getting Kadri. And if it's an overpay, it's an overpay. I mean, everybody says the same things every time. Oh, the last few years are going to kill us. Yes, everybody's who signs big free agents, get used to it. The last few years normally kill them. It's very rare when you get a guy like a Tkachuk going to Florida and you get that kind of caliber at that time and get to lock him up for 8 years or whatever. It doesn't happen very often. Usually you're signing some guy who's 28, 29 years old and they want a contract that's going to take them to 36, 37. It's always a crapshoot with those guys because some guys can carry it on. You take a look at Joe Pavelski, guy's still playing like a kid. And then there's other people that are just duds when they hit that age. And so, yeah, you might get screwed at the end, but we need to get hockey players thinking in the lines that Long Island is a destination place. Now, everybody thinks just because we all of a sudden got the arena and we got Lamoriello, we got a great organization going on, that now the free agents are just going to flock here. We're getting close. We're getting close, folks. We have 30 years of stench to wash off this team. It had such a bad rap in the NHL for so long. We were the butt of all jokes for 30 freaking years. Okay. 30 years. You don't wash off 30 years just like that. However, if you can grab the second best UFA this year, maybe next year, you can grab the number 1 and people will say, oh, well, then we won't have cap room. You can always make cap room somehow, some way. I mean, I love Matt Barzal and he's one of my favorite players, but you know what? 60 points is not going to cut it for me as a first line center. We need a better first line center than 60 points. I think Matt can do it, but it's time to start doing it. And hopefully with the new system and everything, we'll get that from Matt. But until that happens, we need to sign somebody of importance, and Kadri is of importance. He's the second best guy out there. I mean, look, the Islanders tried to get Tkachuk. Who thought the Islanders were going to be in the mix for going for Matthew Tkachuk? I didn't, but we were. We were in the mix for Goodrow, but Goodrow had other intentions. We never had a chance. So, but the point of the matter is we've been trying and trying and trying. We struck out with Panarin. We struck out with all the big boys. It keeps happening over and over. You sign a guy like Kadri, it's going to make us a better team. Everybody's all upset because we got 5 centers. What are we going to do? You ask any coach in the NHL, and they will take 12 centers on their team anytime. You would love to have a team of 12 centers. You gives you so many options. Injuries, so many things can happen. Geez, forget that 5. You don't really have to trade somebody for because he's a center and we've got 5 of them. You keep them and move somebody to the wing. It's just that simple. And so I guess that kind of brings us to cap space. How are we going to get there? Well, the 2 names being bandied about right now are Josh Bailey and Anthony Beauvillier. Josh Bailey, as I've known for so many years, is just not a very good hockey player, and people just thought we were going to get something for Bailey. We just found out nobody in the NHL wants Josh Bailey. Gee, I can't imagine why, but yeah, they want something else. They want us to chuck in a draft pick. I'm not chucking in a draft pick for Bailey. I'd rather just cut this guy. But can't really do that because then it affects your cap. But we can't even trade Bailey for a bag of pucks right now. So Lou's it's kind of looking like he might have to resort to Beauvillier. And it's a shame, but Beauvillier only makes $500,000 less a year than Bailey does. And this could be one of the reasons why everything's tied up so much. If there's one team that I know has heavy interest in Anthony Beauvillier, is the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens are strapped up against cap, except they have a huge number in LTIR that they can sign. And I can't remember when the day for LTIR kicks in. I think it might be the start of training camp. I always thought for the longest time you couldn't make a move on LTIR until the first game of the season was played. Either way, that could be holding things back, but I think Lou is assessing, and rightly so. We can't trade Bailey and give another pick. We just can't. But you can trade Bo and get something for Bo. Now, and I'm happy with just a draft pick for Bo, a couple of draft picks, whatever, anything for Bo, because and don't get me wrong, I love Bo, but this kid is just way too inconsistent for me. Way too inconsistent. So I won't lose any sleep if we lose Bo. Don't get me wrong, I like him. I cheer for him all the time, and he just continually lets me down. And then he goes on his little hot streaks for 7-8 games and gets me all excited again, and then disappears for 20 games. And geez, kind of sounds a whole lot like Josh Bailey, doesn't it? And I don't need another Bo being a Bailey, even though I think Bo's better than Bailey, so by a long shot. So that's what I see that at. I don't know how Lou's going to do this, and but it's looking like Bailey or Bo, and I guess there is another possibility that Pajot could be on the trade block as well. I would hate to see that as well. I think he just had an off season because of his injuries. I'm expecting better things out of Pajot this year. And like I said, the problem is not having 5 centers. The problem is cap space. So this is where we might have to get rid of one of them. Like I said, it would be awesome if it was Bailey. Like, as long as we don't have to send anything, we'll be more than happy just take a bag of pucks for him and clear cap space and say thanks for the memories or nightmares, whatever you want to call them. So anyway, that's I think we all know how I feel about Josh Bailey. Anyway, we can also recap a bit here to the draft and just sum up who some of the players we got for draft picks. And I apologize for me trashing their names, and I really haven't heard any of their names. I've heard one of their names mentioned, so I know how that one's pronounced. But anyway, at 5th pick overall, we got Kalle Odulius from left defenseman from Sweden. So a lot of people seem pretty high on Kalle, so that's a good thing, even though he didn't make the World Junior roster, which was a bit of a surprise to a couple of people. But Sweden always sends a strong team. So look what happened to Luke Dufour at Christmas time. He got edged out, and he shouldn't have been. But look at him now; he's in WJC right now. And after Odulius, we had another quick pick, 78th, with Quinn Finley, left winger from the USHL. So we got an American there. So welcome to the team, Quinn. And at 98, we got Isaiah George, a left-handed defenseman from London in the OHL. And here's a name I'm going to trash. Is it at 142nd pick, Matthew Maggio, or is it Maggio? I don't know. Anyway, he's a right winger from the Windsor Spitfires in the OHL. And at 174th, we got Dylan Kuffler, left winger from Kamloops. So basically, we picked up a couple of left wingers, a right winger, and two left-handed defensemen. So we were rated a -C for our draft, but a lot of that was because we traded our first overall pick, which I would do 100 times over to get Romanov. So because of the weird COVID stance and everything that's going on there, we got, I think it's four prospects in the WJCs, the World Junior Championships right now. And it just started 2 days ago, and two of our prospects are off to really great starts. Aatu Ratu with 1 goal and 3 assists for 4 points in 1 game. And his line looked absolutely dominant. I think it's, was there, I think there was two guys on line with 4 points and one with 3. So they were outstanding. And some of the passes that Ratu made were just absolutely gorgeous. And my God, his skating is nice too. And he's got a great shot. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching that game. And the William Dufour redemption tour for not being picked at Christmas time, being out there, looked real good today. It was a toss up whether it was going to be him or Greg for the player of the game, and they gave it to Greg. They both had William Dufour had a goal and assist, and so did Greg for 2 points, and looked fantastic out there. He was pounding his body all over the ice. He had 6 shots on net, made some beauty passes. And I love the way this kid's shoot first mentality is. This guy is freaking huge. I mean, there's 6'3", and then there's 6'3", 200 and how many ever pounds this kid is. But if there was ever a player that could step into an NHL lineup, size-wise, physicality-wise, it would be Dufour. Now, whether his training is good enough, I don't know. But I'll tell you this, he was playing a 200-foot game out there. I was watching him back check his ass off out there. And he was all over the place. And he did it with 12 minutes and 31 seconds of ice time. And most of that ice time, since he was on the third line, and Team Canada had 4 power plays, so he doesn't play on the power play, but he plays on the PK. So a lot of that 12 minutes and 31 seconds was on the PK for him. So he didn't get a whole lot of ice time for what I think he should, but things always change at the WJC. You never know. They always make adjustments after 2-3 games, like who they think should be with who in that. But anyway, I thought he looked great, and Aatu Ratu looked fantastic as well. So really excited. So I think our prospects now are our prospect covered is looking a little better now than it was. It was looking a little rough there a while ago. But it's nice to have a couple of good prospects down below that could come up at any time. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got for the off-season report. I would like to let people know, I would really love to be doing updates all summer long for the Canadian Islander fan, but you just got to be a realist. I know Lou's not going to do anything. I mean, Kevin Weeks came out today and he said, I think Lou's going to announce four transactions real soon. I can't tell you the date. And I just said, yeah, well, how about September 1st? Why not? That's when he did it last year. So Islander fans out there driving yourself nuts and banging your head against the wall, stop doing it. It's not worth it. You need to save your banging your head on your wall for Josh Bailey. So either that or you're going to get a serious concussion, and take it from a guy who's had about 20 concussions. You don't want one. they're not a whole lot of fun. So uh, anyway, for Islanders, there's actually a lot of action going on this offseason. Just nothing gets announced. You know, our restricted free agents are signed. Noah Dobson signed, Romanov signed, and all that stuff. So relax and take it easy out there. And just because Kevin Weeks came out and said that it's going to happen real soon, and who knows, you know, it maybe if Lou's tied up all loose ends, maybe it will be tomorrow or something, but I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. I'm still expecting around September 1st when he did it last year with 4 transactions. And unless it's a direct trade that has to be announced, you're not going to hear nothing until about September 1st would be my best guess. Anyway, I got to tell you guys, it's really great to be back talking about the Islanders again. I'm getting excited. I always do get excited around this time of year, knowing that Islander hockey is coming again soon. It's nice to have the World Junior Championships kind of gearing me up in August to get going for hockey again, and watching those couple of games really got me going. It's pretty exciting. So I'm looking for a better year from the Islanders. I am super pumped about the Romanov trade. Very, very happy about that one. Really, really pleased. We're really setting our decor up for a long, long run together. Like, these guys are going to be together for a long time, and that is exciting stuff. If there's some way we could wrap up Scott Mayfield for like 6-7 more years. That would just be amazing at a much lower contract, but not obviously his cheapo 1.4 mil that we got him on now, but like a 2-3 million range. That would be amazing to keep that core together like that. So yep, things are happening in Islander land. I do expect Ratu and Dufour to make some noise in training camp this up and coming year, and I think both of them very possibly could play in the NHL next year, maybe late into the season with injuries and stuff like that. Call ups from Bridgeport. I see them both destined for Bridgeport right now, but get a little experience in there in the AHL level. But like I said, Dufour's body is a man. Like, he's a man. He's not a teenager, not at all. And Ratu, his skating and he has a vision. He has vision. He has great vision on his passes, and he puts it right on the blade too. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got for the off-season report. It is good to get back. I'm going to have to remember how to do all my editing skills now. So this has also been a little bit of a tester for me. Like I said, I would love to do updates all summer long and tell you if we were like a normal other organization that actually announces their transactions, and I'd be more than happy to be reporting on a hot July day. But I've learned my lesson. I know better. And that's why I kind of pieced out on everybody at the end there, hopped on my bike and went for a cruise, 3,000 miles. Fantastic. So I hope some of you Islander fans got out there and enjoyed summer, because boy, it's going fast like it always does. So anyway, that's all I got for you for now. So all you guys and girls out there, you take care and peace out.